And welcome back, everyone, to the Pokemon Team Creation Series. Today on Christmas Eve! And because it's Christmas Eve, we're going to do a very special Christmas-themed episode today. I initially had another one planned, but then when I looked at it, I'm like, it's Christmas Eve. We got to do a Christmas-themed one. In fact, I think last year Christmas fell on a Sunday, so I did the video on Sunday. But no, we got to do a Christmas theme one this year. And I'm pretty certain I have not done this one yet. I double checked, I think, in my playlist for anything Jack Skellington themed. But as I just said, it's Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas, coming us from Rainbow Prison. By the way, the person whose suggestion was going to be today, I just bumped that up a little bit. Your suggestion's still coming, don't worry. But Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King. He is, obviously, we know who Jack Skellington is. Nightmare Before Christmas is a classic. He is the Pumpkin King, the King of Halloween, the Master of Fright, and a Demon of Light. He can take off his head and recite Shakespearean quotation. No animal nor man can scream like he can. But he also wanted more for a while. He wanted to be, he found it in Christmas Land, and he wanted to do Christmas. And it didn't go as planned, but he tried his best. Well, for a moment, why he even touched the sky. And at least he gave them stories they could tell. He did. But what would a Pokemon team for this guy look like? Let's break it down. You cannot have Jack without having his trusted companion Zero. And luckily, we do have a Ghost Dog Pokemon in Graveyard. Now, Graveyard is not a one-to-one ghost. I mean, Zero is a little spooky ghost with even like a Rudolph, like, glowing nose. We don't have anything like that. In fact, I think the closest we have to a ghost wearing a sheet kind of ghost is Mimikyu, actually Shuppet. Shuppet would be your closest allegory to that, now I think about it. But we're not looking for an exact one-to-one. We're just looking for something that closely matches it. And as a loyal ghost dog, Graveyards are actually very friendly, apparently. They do absorb your life force, but they are very friendly regardless. And you can make an argument that maybe Jack's Graveyard is a little bit more special. Maybe not shiny, but maybe its candle, for example, glows red like Zero's nose does. You can make that argument. Absolutely. We've had other strange things happen in the anime. But he's also, as they say, he's the Master of Fright. And to me, that struck a chord of, we need a Pokemon that is scary. Pokemon that likes to scare. And among the trope of scares, there's probably no one better at it than the original OG Gengar. It would make sense that a Halloween-themed character like Jack and the Pumpkin King, the Master of Frights, would have probably one of the OG frightening Pokemon like Gengar. You could have also gone Haunter. Haunter also is very mischievous in that route. You could have also gone Mischievous, which is also very known for liking to scare people. I decided to go with Gengar, just I think makes a bit more sense. And as the Pumpkin King, well, you gotta have the Jack-o'-lantern Pokemon Gourgeist on the team. There's no other way you can go about that. It is a literal Halloween-themed Pokemon. And he is from Halloween Town. He is the Master of Halloween and the Pumpkin King. So you get the pumpkin Pokemon there. So those were kind of obvious choices to me. What didn't become so obvious is the next ones, except for one. But it's obvious and not obvious, because you would assume that a lot of this team would also be Christmas themed. But when you really break down Jack's character, the Christmas thing only really happens during the movie and only for a short time. Afterwards, he's revitalized himself as the Pumpkin King once again. He's very happy with again with his lot in life and goes to make things right. So do we put half the team as Christmas themed as well as Halloween themed? The answer for that, the answer to that I think is a very solid no. That being said, I think if we're looking at, like, say, the Nightmare Before Christmas world in a Pokemon lore standpoint, I think he did keep some aspects of Christmas on the team. Example, Delibird, which is the Santa Pokemon, which he was Santa for a short time. And I could say that this Pokemon probably still stays on his team to this day. He's learned to embrace his Halloween side while still appreciating the other aspect of it. But related to that is the idea that Jack wanted to be more. Wanted something new, wanted people to like him and love him for something other than Halloween. And so he put on the guise as someone he wasn't in order to do that. Well, that is straight out Mimikyu shtick. Mimikyu, first off, you look at Mimikyu, it could kill you, but it's real form. But Mimikyu wears the guise of a Pikachu to be liked, and it's not a Pikachu, and it will never be a Pikachu. So it's a very good allegory to Jack's situation ultimately. Last but not least, though, I knew I had to have a Bayonet on the team, because not Bayonet, a Banette on the team, because it's a representation of Sally. It's a ragdoll. But beyond that, I'm like, well, wait. Jack's love for Sally grew into ultimately it was a true love and mutual romance, all that, and they ultimately have kids in the extended lore. How that works, I have no idea, but they did. Because one is a skeleton with allegedly no reproductive anatomy, and the other is a ragdoll made from just a little living ragdoll. So how they had kids, no idea, but there's magic involved in this thing, so who knows. But because of Jack's relationship with Sally, I went with Mega Bayonet on there, because it would make sense that this would be the mon he probably has the most love, affection, and care for, and for Mega Evolution, that is part of the shtick. And so that would be his Sally representation on the team. So just to recap, Zero is represented by Graveyard. Santa is represented by both Delibird and a little bit of Mimikyu in there, plus the idea of Jack trying to be loved as something he's not, actually. Gengar and Gourgeist to be the Pumpkin King and the Master of Frights, and Banette to represent his relationship with Sally and his love for her. Mega Bayonet, to be precise. But, as always, how balanced is this team? And the answer is not very balanced. Dark types wreck this team's shop. Even Mimikyu, which does have the advantage of having the fairy type on there, it still has the ghost type, which means Dark is still now neutral. And Dark will just hit Delibird as is. But you have Gourgeist, Gengar, two pure ghost types. Ghost types ruin this team's shit. Add on to the fact that ghost types also ruin this team's shit. Like, Mimikyu, apparently Fairy does have kind of like not a resistance, but is a little better against Ghost than some other types. But point being is that it's still, both types are still going to cleave through this team if they have superior Pokemon on there. Hell, a Spiritomb would be the most nightmarish thing to be going up against on this against this team, because it has no weaknesses. At best, if Mimikyu knows a fairy type move, it might be able to hurt it to a degree, but that's it. Or a Sableye would be nightmarish to go up against as well, especially if it's got Mega Evolution added onto there. So yeah, Dark and Ghost types are terrible for this team. Terrible for this team. Other than that, though, I mean, for the majority of types out there, it's still better than nothing. And these are all pretty much fully evolved Pokemon, save for the Graveyard, which, to be fair, you could make an argument. It could evolve further on Jack's team. I chose the Graveyard, the burst form, due to the fact of being more like a small puppy versus a full-grown, like, giant dog, which I don't even know exactly. That's not true. I think I do remember what type of dog the Graveyard's line is kind of supposed to be based off of. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's kind of like a little bit like a sheepdog. Actually, it looks a little bit like, oh god, what was it? What's the name of the guy? Dick Dastardly and his dog. It looks a little bit like one that goes, the one that just has that whistled laugh. It looks a little bit like that dog, actually, with the way his jaw looks. I digress, though. This is the team I have created for Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King from The Night Before Christmas. Let me know what you think of this Pokemon team. Do you like this team? Do you disagree with this team? If you do, what would you do differently? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Merry Christmas Eve, and then I do have a video or two planned for tomorrow, so Merry Christmas as well. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.